The Architect Lens, the Salesforce Sales Representative Certification. Today I'm here to talk about the Salesforce Certified Sales Representative Certification from an architect standpoint. Now, I dove into this just to learn and see what it was, and I found two reasons why it was very familiar for me. Number one, I had run my own consulting company and had led the sales effort. So dealing with a lot of the sales pipeline, the sales process was very helpful. Additionally, I've done a number of Salesforce Sales Cloud implementations and was able to tap into those skills. Regardless, there was some great new material in here that would help me in future situations, either A, selling or B, implementing Sales Cloud. So taking a look at the certification, I start here from the certification. We're looking at the sales representative certification. And then we're going to look at the trail mix, which is the Prepare for Your Salesforce Sales Representative Certification. And I had completed this trail mix, and I'm going to start telling you some of the key items that I thought were very helpful. Again, not necessarily to pass the exam, but from an architect standpoint, some great pieces of information to know that a Salesforce Sales Representative credential person has. So first, the sales territories and forecasting, very helpful. Coming in here, you can learn about the territory models, setting up territories, the important metrics, and managing the territories and the forecasting. So this was a very good one to dive into. So this will go into metrics, territories, and even a little bit of the forecasting and the goals. We have some information about managing key accounts, some sales rep training, and sales performance strategies, and about the changing role and relationship selling. And I actually enjoyed the relationship selling, how to build a connection, building trust, offering insights, a little bit more than just making a sale. So this is what I found myself doing when I had my own consulting company, but it'd be nice to have it codified like that for the entire sales team, talking about building trust, crafting your story, focusing around the benefit. So here we are, make a connection, strike a nerve, tell a story. So this is much more story-oriented and solving a problem-oriented. So I really enjoyed diving into these fresh and seeing them again. Making a connection, collaborating with the customer, creating effective the sales presentation. This whole module here, create, confirm, commit, connect, and collaborate, develop a strategy. So I would call this one of the key modules for me that really helped me learn new information and think about the sales process in a different perspective. I also enjoyed, not that it's an easy thing, but strategies for difficult conversations with customers, talking about coming into here, how to approach difficult, prepare for the difficult conversations, and how to look for solutions. So this one was also very helpful. Coming in here, deciding how to show empathy, asking questions, and making recommendations and be transparent, focus on solutions. So I would definitely want my sales teams in the future, either myself or my sales teams, to be thinking about these kinds of elements as they move their sales process forward. And then the principles of design thinking. Coming in, taking a new perspective, what's feasible, what's desirable, and what's viable. First, they've got to want it. Two, it's got to be feasible. And then you look into its viability. So having your sales teams focus in on starting with the ideas and moving in those directions. Now, never been a good cold caller myself, but I can understand, and this goes into cold calling basics. We do how to do sales prospecting. And this is interesting, taking in the prospecting process and developing who you're going to reach out to, how you're going to reach out, and what kinds of things you're going to do when you do reach out. So having a strategy ahead of time, creating tiered people that you want to focus in on, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So this one was helpful, how to zero in on your targeting for your sales process. We've got additional links on customer sats, how to measure customer satisfaction. And this article was nice, where you're talking into how you should measure it: overall satisfaction, loyalty, attribute, cognitive, intent to repurchase. So you can start looking into the things that you want to measure. So if I were either leading a sales team or even doing a Sales Cloud implementation, those elements would help me understand what's in the minds of my sales team. Then we go into the sales pipeline. And this is the common stages of the sales pipeline coming in, talking about, and again, these are little tripwires for Salesforce to chat, to do their own sales process. Anticipate sales cycle, bottlenecks, and then know the prospecting, lead qualification, demos, proposals, negotiations, and then the win, and then the post-purchase, which I also thought was very helpful. So know your different sales pipeline stages. Now, there could be modifications for specific customers, but these are great categories to know over the top of your head. Lead qualification, demo, proposals. So I think this was very helpful. And here's additional metrics: lead source, your industry, what level of decision making. And I've definitely found that deals that exceed certain thresholds, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, when you're talking about like Salesforce consulting practices, projects, you definitely reach different levels of decision makers. And you need to know at what level of decision maker are you at. Deal size, probability to close. So these are all good metrics for knowing how to implement the sales pipeline process. And then as you look at a sale, you have the BANT. What is BANT? Well, do they have the budget? Do they have the authority? Do they have the need for what you're selling? And what is the timing for what you're selling? So these four things can really help. Budget, authority, need, and timing can help you look at a couple of deals and decide which ones you should be focusing in on. Sales process basics is a nice little one to be into. We don't need to go in. Customer-centric strategies. And then knowing how to frame the challenges and going into scoping. So this is more around the mindset, create how we might statements. And we've had some discussion of this in the BAs or the strat. But over here in the sales, challenge the framing. What are you trying to solve? What's the status quo? And we go into how you can understand the need, establish the problem solving, do framing the problem, and then looking for the trade-offs. So I thought this was very helpful, and this entire module going down to effective how we might, building your, how might we do what in order to get you to solve the problem the customer will be facing, include the solutions, how might we enable users to express themselves. So as you dig deeper, this could be key for your sales process. Now, it's interesting as we come into pricing strategies, this starts to overlap with CPQ. So definitely knowing if you're selling a product, how will you price it? What are your pricing tools? What will you look at? And what kind of pricing strategies are there? From cost plus, bundle, value pricing, competitor-based pricing. So all of these are how do you price your services? Or B, if you're leading a sales team for a team, knowing how do they price and being able to set that up. So I would consider this a key module, especially as you transition into CPQ. Objection handling was also very helpful, more a softer skill, but listening to preparing for the objections that they might have, learning how to diffuse the objections, and then actually leveraging the objections as a way to gather information to sell better. So learning how to discover the objections. So being prepared and knowing that objections in the sales process are actually, can be a helpful item if you can understand the source of that. And if there are common objections that your sales processes have, you should be practicing those and know them inside and out, be able to diffuse, discover, deliver, practice. And this is so these should be very straightforward if you have a particular thing you're selling, knowing how to handle those objections. So there were a lot of aspects around the 4 customer objections, 4 winning strategies for objection handling. So really, I see a lot of the being prepared in advance for the most common questions that are going to hit you. Then we go into sales contracts and negotiations, and down into pipeline management. We're building your pipeline from start to finish, and monitoring your pipeline, knowing when things are getting stuck into a particular stage, mastering the metrics, and then we get into forecasting. So we talk about building a sales forecast, customer success, and then we're getting into the actual order management. And I found this was a very helpful trail. Salesforce order management, getting started, evaluating. You can even see on the very first module, there's some great diagrams about a flow from placing an order and authorizing the payment, carrying all the way from order capture, order fulfillment, and delivery. So one, a salesperson should know this. And two, this is starting to get into OMS, order management systems. So this was really good information, especially if you're doing a sales implementation moving into OMS. And definitely you can start to see tying the system together between your B2B, B2C sales, to Salesforce, back to the revenue. We got a little module on emotional intelligence, knowing about yourself, becoming self-aware, managing your emotional reactions, and demo storytelling, being able to tell compelling stories. This was a nice one, nice little short one. Getting into some forecasting, and then getting into this business process mapping. And we've seen this, understanding the UPN on other certifications, knowing the flow chart, process map. We're definitely getting the overlap between some of the certifications, but I'm definitely seeing the help of these diagrams. So if you have a sales team selling, I'm sure you've already got existing sales training, but this training can be helpful. And if you're doing a Sales Cloud implementation for your BAs, your, even the tech leads, even the strat, all of those people might want to consider, if Sales Cloud implementations are something you're doing, this will help put you in the mind of the salesperson. So again, I was running my own consulting company and doing my own sales. I could have used some more of this structured material to frame how I'm thinking. And then I would turn around and implement Sales Cloud in countless clients. So I see the value both as a salesperson, and I see it as an implementer of someone doing Sales Cloud. So if you're like doing Sales Cloud implementations, whether you're in a big team or whether you're like a one-person shop, I would suggest this certification to help you get in the minds of the salesperson. And I hope this was helpful. So I hope you enjoyed Super Selling. Join me again, same bat time, same bat channel. Subscribe to YouTube, SteveTechArc, and www.stevetecharc.com. Thank you very much.